Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and in this part we're going to try to finish up the tailstock die holder. When I got the thing started, I didn't realize just how much work it would be, but I've worked on it for 3 or 4 days here. Of course the video is not going to last 3 or 4 days, but nevertheless it surprised me that there was that much work to do. Of course I work slow, being old, you know, and I imagine it took me probably 4 times as long as it would a real machinist. You know, there's a lot of telephone scams going on these days where they call up and tell you that somebody in your family is going to be arrested, or they're in jail and they need some money to get out, or I don't know, all kind of different stories. Well, the boss lady got a call a couple of days ago from one of these scammers, and they were going to have to see about somebody, and they wanted these documents signed, and they gave their phone number, the case number, and all that sort of thing. And of course, if she doesn't recognize the number, she doesn't listen to it. She just lets it go to voicemail. And so I told her, I said, it's just one of those scammers, you know, don't worry about it. And then the next day they called back and said they were coming over today, and somewhere between 2 and 5 or something like that, and failure to comply would be, or not exactly what the term was. I was thinking about other things, but they said there'd be a refusal to sign and all this kind of thing, and they gave their phone number and the case number again. Now what they want you to do is to call that number and try to get out of trouble before they show up. Well, I told her, I said, don't worry about it, it's a scam. I said, nobody's going to show up. So I was working on the tailstock die holder all afternoon. Not a person showed up, you know. These, no telling how much money they get from people that worry about one of their relatives is going to get in a lot of trouble, and they crank out some money to save them from it. Their relative hadn't even done anything or never been there. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a warning. You guys watch out for these scams. There's a million of them going on. And there's that IRS scam too, where they say you owe money and you got to pay X amount and so on. Don't listen to none of that. All right. Alright, well then let's get on with the tailstock die holder. Before starting this job, I intended to have this little pointer on 0 so that everything I did would be a multiple of 60. Well, I almost did that. But right at the end, I guess there was too many things for me to think about, and I promptly forgot about that. So instead of moving to 60, I've got to move to 92.5, and that ought to be a good thing to do. I can actually see the numbers better on the camera than I can by eyeball. But I'm going to go get a flashlight, I think. Well, if I do like that, almost anything makes it brighter there. But I gotta get there. It is. I said I wanted 92.5, and I'm not even at 90. And there we are, 92.5. I had one of the brakes on the whole time I was turning it there. That's obviously from being nervous. I couldn't possibly be that careless. Alright, so there you are. I came out with a hex, and it is just a tiny bit tight. Let's see if I can pop this back up. I'm going to get a hold of it. I guess I shouldn't have shoved it in there like that. I tried a little knurling here. Didn't work out. My knurling tool just won't cut into the metal, and so I guess I'll change my plan, and I'll just put a hex all the way in here and let that do the job. I would have loved to have had a nice knurl, but it's just not going to work out. So anyway, I'm boring this end to 1 inch to fit the round dies, and I'm down at about 5 thousandths away from it right now. So I'll take a cut and then I'll bring you guys back when it's time to try the die in there. Alright, so I wound up 1 inch and a thousandth, and it's, I would say, acceptable fit. So that's where we're going to stop there. I'll have to put it in a collet and cut a hex down the middle here so that it has at least some better appearance. And of course I'll have to slick this up and all that. And I'll have to drill some screws into there to hold this little bugger. Well, if I ever get it back out. There. I guess with this one screw do the job. Alright, so I'll bring you guys back when we get a little further in the progress. After I said I'd put it in a collet block and cut a hex, it dawned on me my collets only go up to 1 inch. So that would make it a kind of a hard job to do. Let's see here. That should be very near to exactly right. Alright, that'll be the limit going this way. We'll just make that the X0, and then we'll come back to it this other way. And that's 0.933. So that's where we'll go to, 0.933. I'll write that down because I'll probably forget in just a minute. But it's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop her down and cut a hex there that's hopefully about 1 inch from side to side. That's as big a wrench as I've got. I guess it's been a couple of years since one of my viewers gave me about 3 of these nice big jacks. And today I think this is maybe the 2nd time I've used one of them, and it's absolutely essential. You can't beat it. I wish I could remember who it was that sent it. That's the thing that always worries me, is forgetting the person's name, and then I'm stuck there and somebody would be offended, you know. But I just don't remember the guy's name. But whoever you are, I certainly do appreciate that. When I cut the internal hex on the other end, I messed up. Instead of starting on 0, I started on 32.5 degrees. You'd think that after making a mistake one time, the guy would learn. But no. When I started doing this, I started on 32.5 degrees. There you go. You can teach an old dog new tricks, but not all of them. I didn't take it quite as small as I had calculated, but that's good enough for me right there. The wrench fits, and that's all it needs to do. And I remembered something that I had forgotten. This end right here, it's got about 3/4 of an inch that I've got to bore out to fit the 800 thousandths. My boring tool was too short and flimsy coming from the other side. When I got a more substantial boring bar with it only come to about here. So that means that I've got to take this chuck without disturbing things, stick it back in, and finish boring this hole right here on this end, that 1 inch that was left over. I did bore out close to it with a really flimsy boring bar, but I had a lot of chatter and I didn't like that. So I did a little boring there to connect the hole through on both ends all the way through there, and it seems to be about the right tightness. I imagine it'll be something I'll put a little oil on before I use it anyway. It turns relatively easy. It's just I guess I'm just too particular. Now all I need to do is drill a hole on each end for the screws that'll that'll hold the dies steady. Alright, I'm set up here on these V-blocks, and I centered my drill down in the bottom of the V, and then I set the workpiece on top, and that's how I centered up the hole. And now we're gonna thread it, I hope, provided everything stays still. I'm not certain that everything's going to stay still with me holding it by hand. One of the important things is to make sure you got the right side of the V. I dropped that V block a minute ago and had to move it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get it started. I didn't put any oil on it because I forgot, so we'll just have to live with it however it does there. That should be pretty well onto a flat, and I can finish it by hand now. Which I'll do off camera, because I got to go get the tap handle. Alright, now we'll do the round end, which probably won't be as easy as the other one. I'm not sure. I don't have a clamp handy that'll hold that thing down. I need one really bad. I guess I'm gonna have to go find one. I have to find something to clamp it down. Actually, the V-blocks were centered in the vise, so I'll let the vise hold it without the V-blocks, and we'll still get the same nice hold. And then all I have to do is to find some little thumb screws that work right with this, or cap head screws. I think cap screws are probably better than anything. Soft metal and a new tap sure work wonders. So there we are. I'll run it through there just a little bit, I guess. Nah, it's all the way through. So I'll go and get the cap screws, and we'll show you those, and then we'll probably be about finished. Alright, everything's completed, and I'll use the round end of this thing. Maybe 1/1000th wasn't as much clearance as I needed there. I don't really know. I think that's got it tightened down. And so we can do the job there. And it might be good to remove this screw back here when I'm working on that one. In fact, it's probably best I just have one screw so that I'll be forced to move it to whichever end that I'm working on. That way, if the die catches, it's not going to drag this thing against me. I believe that'd be the best bet. Let it movable as it should be. And the other end works too. I'll turn it around and we'll put a hex in it. Alright, now I've got a hex die. Take this guy and loosen him up. Let the round bit die fall out. Put this guy on. And there we are. We're ready to go. Either size die and either end. So that wraps it up, and I guess we'll probably go see if Bubba's up to anything, or Thibodeau, or Ole, who knows. Bubba and Cooter went up to Walmart there, and they were having a charity raffle, you know, contest. So they bought tickets, and sure enough, Cooter won first place, which was a year's supply of gourmet pasta, you know. And Bubba, he got sixth place, which was a toilet brush. So they go along there about a week, and they come across each other again down there on the Walmart parking lot. And Bubba says, well, he says, how you enjoying your prize? And Cooter says, oh, he says, that's good. He says, I ain't never ate so good in my life. And he says, how about you, Bubba? He says, how do you like in your prize? And Bubba says, well, he says, I don't know, he says, but he says, I ain't too happy with it. He says, I'm figuring I may have to go back to using toilet paper. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.